Hi, it's Brawdy with a personal invitation for you. If your regular weekly gathering is on lockdown, your weekend ritual on the ropes, this social distancing got you down, well, we're here to hang with you and pick up some of your Sunday morning slack. With all the stress, anxiety, and downright worry swirling around us today, we'll be here to ride it out with you. So first, a quick joke. A rabbi, a minister, a priest, a mullah, a monk, and a shaman, they all walk into a bar. Yeah, it's just like that. No memberships, no collection plates, no hymns, no bowing, no kidding. We're just gathering to remind each other who we genuinely are. So please join us live for a very special All Natural Being Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern, for as long as the current craziness lasts. Well, now we're rolling out the red carpet because it's time for your cognitive bodyguard, your intellectual escort through troubled waters, battling the entropy and atrophy of the human mind. I'm your Huckleberry and your host. It's Brian. I'm in and very glad you joined us for today's ride. So what do you say? Let's get ready to mortal up. And I'm a huge fan. I also want to say, what do you say? Let's get ready to mortal up. This is episode 472. Episode 472. Thank you so very much for joining us. A lot going on today. A lot going on. Welcome to the 8 o'clock hour. So let's just get to this. Let's do a couple of house cleaning things before we jump right into it. All right, so here's what you know. It's episode 472. You've got that. We're going to talk a little bit about Cognitive Bodyguard. We're going to talk a little bit about Fan Buddy. I've got some news there. And then we're going to go back to a little more about being a psychological survival expert, right? Being your own cognitive bodyguard, your own. Let's look at this one again. Your own mind's Mandalorian. You got a mind? Why can't you be the Mandalorian? Put that binge thinking right there on a stick. You see that back there to the left? That's what we could do. So in episode 472, we're going to talk about Cognitive Bodyguard. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and get to what I want to talk about and then why we kind of preempted our program. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Why we preempted a little bit of our programming tonight. Now on Monday, we're very lucky. We're going to have a special guest with us, the inventor, the creator, an absolutely brilliant mind. And, right, now, just my luck, he's good looking and a brilliant mind. He'll be with us Monday, and we're going to be discussing something called the Fan Buddy. Now, why this is a big deal, I'll show you a picture of it very quickly, right? When I first got back from the hospital and I was like, hey, I got to be careful of the air that I breathe in. I've got to watch what's going on. He created, it was already out there, but he created for me and hopped up for me, tweaked it a little bit, if you will, to make sure that instead of spending all kinds of money, it's called the Fan Buddy. I'll throw the picture up here. It's really easy. You put it on your own box fan, for goodness sakes. For nothing compared to what some of these other high cost quality filters on. He calls it the Fan Buddy, right? You buy your own box fan, you throw this filtering system on, and it's like hospital room quality air. I think he said it was something like a 16 or a 17 as far as filters go, but I figured, why would you ever let me be the one that talks about how things are going? So I thought, great, let's have him on the show Monday, and he can talk about those things that I did to try to protect my air, because there's all kinds of studies. Now, 5 years ago, I was screaming about this, but there's all kinds of studies going, you got to protect your lungs, right? Got to protect your lungs. And I know today it's a big story. Everyone's talking about masks. Now, let me just say, cue the critics. Everyone's ready to jump on. I'm simply saying this. There are some studies that suggest that you can help your own immune system by breathing in, not through your mouth breather, not through your mouth, but through your nose. So let's just demystify that a little bit. The reason that I've worked so hard for all the years in terms of the meditation that we've talked about, the reason that I always say to folks, look, breathe through your nose. That's how the way it was intended. Your mouth was for eating and your nose is for breathing. So breathe in through your nose. Why is that? Because all of the mucus linings, all of the little hairs that line your nose tend to grab a hold of all these antigens that are outside knocking on the door. Hello, land shark. Let me in. It'd be great if you could actually pick up some of those. But knock, 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 ring a doorbell. Ding dong. Right? Let me in. Let me in. Well, when we breathe in through our nose, the mucus linings and the little hairs in our nose do a great job of trapping these guys. You go, Bri, COVID-19, I don't care if it traps it. I don't want it anywhere in me. Well, also that inhale, in terms of the production of nitrous oxide, what doctors now say is that when you inhale through your nose, that nitrous oxide, NO for short, right, that does a good job of smacking those antigens around before they even get a chance to get into your throat and into your lungs and wreak their havoc. Now, am I saying that you can guarantee you're not going to catch COVID-19 if you breathe through your nose? No, of course I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that you really bolster your immune systems, your all-natural being, if you will. You bolster your own immune system to get in there and mix it up with these pathogens when you breathe in through your nose. Because breathe in through your mouth, it's right to your throat. No mucus, no little hairs, right? No nitrous oxide, right into where they want to go. It's like in Caddyshack when they let all the caddies into the pool for 15 minutes every summer, right? Caddies are welcome. It's a free-for-all for these antigens. But when you breathe through your nose, not so much so. So that's my little thing about the nose. We'll talk to my good friend Paul, the inventor of Fan Buddy, on Monday, get everything all put together. But as far as what you can do over the weekend, if you're like, oh, Brian, I don't have a mask. I'm lucky enough to have a mask, one of the ones that everyone's talking about, because of the woodworking, which I still can't figure out. They wouldn't release me from the hospital after my last brain surgery to do anything, but they released me from learning how to use power tools. Well, they're doctors, right? So in any event, you got to listen to them. So I have my mask left over from, geez, Brian might learn how to cut a piece of wood. It was hysterical. You should have seen it. You know, at one point, the guy's like, hey, what's going on? Do you know how to use a roofing square? And I'm like, roofing square? I have no clue what a roofing square is. Hold on one second. Let me see what all that rattle is about. Let's back up. I don't know what that. Ah, there we go. That sounds a little better, don't you think? A little tomato, who knows? All right, so here's the scoop, right? They said, well, get out your roofing square. And I'm like, roofing square? English, baby, English. So in any event, that's why I have a mask. But in the interim, till we get to Monday, until you do what you can, and now I run these fan buddies everywhere in my house. But another thing is, just do some of your own research. See if you're not better off. See if you're not healthier if you breathe in through your nose so that your natural bodyguards can get in and start mixing it up with these pathogens. All right, so here's another thing. We told you this was episode 472. Everybody gets it. All right, but here's the next little bit, if you will. We're going to move to mornings starting Monday. We're going to be doing radio 6 a.m. Eastern, starting live, because here's what I've realized, to be honest with you. A lot of the stuff going on, a lot of the people aren't prepared to start their day. Me neither, right? Prepared to start their day. But this gives a chance for us to get our cup of coffee, whatever we drink in the morning, whatever our ritual is, get together. There's going to be Brian's breaking news, which I'm very excited about. That'll be one of the segments. And of course, Low Life's Making Headlines will still be there. Mortal Up will still be there. All of that will be there. But we'll be broadcasting live via the radio, which you can get right at, mortalup.com. The player's right there. You can even come in on your phone. Right? If you still get a chance to drive anywhere, you can come in right on your phone starting Monday morning. We'll be live for at least an hour, Monday 6 to 7 a.m., 5 days a week. We'll still be doing All Natural Being on Sundays at 11 a.m., as the commercials say. We'll still be doing All Natural Being Sundays at 11 a.m., so you have that. But we'll be moving. Episode 73 will be broadcast on the radio first with rebroadcast and video. Now we have to see. We might be doing maybe the video is going to be live, but if not, there'll be rebroadcasts that go out to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, and to YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to stop by our YouTube page, please do so, the Counterpunch Media. Please do so. And then also, remember, you can still go over to mortalup.com. You can sign up for the blog and blurb, right? You know what to do once you get there. You can see how I'm mixing it up on Twitter. You can also see the feed and what's going on, my trains of thought for the day, which we post every morning. And throughout the day, we post those on Instagram. All right, so here's what I would really love to do. I want to talk a little bit about being your own cognitive bodyguard in the time that we have left. Now, what we're talking about when we say be your mind's own Mandalorian, right? Be a psychological survival expert. And you go, well, Bri, what? That's pretty wild. A psychological survival expert. Yeah, but I have to tell you, I didn't come up with this on my own. In answering a question today, and we went ahead, and this is why we bumped Fan Buddy till Monday, but we went ahead and kind of retooled a little bit because someone said, well, where did you learn all this? And I go, well, there was all that time in China. I've been doing this for 35 years, blah, 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 blah. But where I got to see it in action, right, where this whole thing from New York Times on down, everything, if you've seen me in the New York Times or Good Morning America, or the early CBS Early Show, or any of the thousands of television stations across the country, they were saying, oh, here's our survival expert. Here's our survival expert, right? So for me, the psychological survival started in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Now, when you talk about human courage and human grit, it was on full display because after Katrina moved through, it stripped everything in its path. I mean, the wall of water moved in, and when it moved out, it took absolutely everything with it. Nothing survived Katrina's rage. Nothing at all. So one of the things that I learned very early on was that when you looked at the people, when you went and said, hey, how did they do it? How was their resilience? What is it that they did? They mortaled up. Each and every one of them mortaled up. So that as you look at some of these pictures that are up on the screen now, their way of life was just turned upside down. Absolutely no two ways about it. Their way of life just turned upside down. But they didn't forget who they were. I mean, I have stories. Sometime if you want to see some of the other pictures, all the you loot, we shoot at one side of the realm. And then the other side was everyone doing everything that they could. Cops were sleeping in sleeping bags in the parking lot of Walmart. The people, there were first aid stations that were just, you drive up to an intersection, there's a first aid station, all the bottles of water, all the medics, everybody else working. But what they didn't do is forget who they are. What they didn't do was surrender. What they didn't do was anything other than mortal up. So in navigating intellectually uncertain, let's leave it like that, in navigating intellectually uncertain waters, when you remember who you ultimately are, when you're able to go, no, fear is the greatest combustible fuel known to the human mind. Because what does fear do? Well, look, if we break fear down, we break anxiety, we break stress, all of them. All it is, right? Fear isn't foreign. It's not like it's something that jumps out and grabs you. Fear is something, it's a chemical reaction in your own body when your senses go, we should rouse you for this. This is something you should pay attention to. We think we hear something over there in the weeds. Could be a lion, could be a tiger, oh my, maybe a bear, who knows? But we think you should rouse you. So all I'm suggesting is that when you have that sense of fear, you decide what you're going to do being fully aroused. You decide in that moment, will you use the chemicals to plot your path out of whatever it is that fate has decided to poke you in the chest with? Or will you let those chemicals hijack you and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off? So all I'm simply suggesting is that when we talk all the time about mortal up, it's you being ultimately in control of everything going on inside of your own mind. And I'm fascinated by this. Early this morning, I put up a post where someone said, well, Corona, COVID, Wuhan, whatever you like, or this virus, it's just because of its uncertainty. Well, life itself is uncertain. Right? I could walk out of this little box, go upstairs, decide to go for a run, get hit by a tractor trailer. Or I could decide to go for a run, come back, a little bit of headache, go to see my doctor. You got yourself a brain tumor. Everything about life is uncertain. Everything about life is unpredictable. And I think we've been sold a false bill of goods. We believe, you can buy insurance for that. You live forever. Do this. Do that. Don't you worry about it. Well, I'm here to tell you, nothing about life is certain. So all the people are running around with their hair on fire going, we don't know if we'll be here tomorrow. None of us know if we'll be here tomorrow. So what I'm suggesting is that you can listen to the people that are petrified, that are scared to death. And look, someone said to me, are you really willing to trade your liberty? You're willing to say liberty is more important to you than your own health. Well, let me say this. I'm willing to trade my health I'm willing to deal with my own health. I'm willing to take on the personal responsibility of dealing with my own health so that your liberty, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, your close friends in the future, so that their liberty isn't compromised. When it comes to my own health, let me worry about my health. If more people were like, hey, I think I'm susceptible to this. I'm the target age. I'm the target compromised immune system. I haven't been, I don't have the best physiology going on in the world. And if you're a target for this, then stay in. Don't go to the store. Call me. I'll throw on a mask. I'll go to the store for you, right? All I'm suggesting is that when you mortal up and you look at what fear really is, fear isn't the time to be pointing fingers at other people. Everyone's ticked off at the president. Then they're all ticked off at Congress. Then they're all ticked off at their governor. Then they're all ticked off at their mayor or their sheriff. Then they're all ticked off at their housing authority or, local groups of people that band together, whatever it is. But the bottom line, to mortal up, is to take your own personal responsibility and go, I'm not willing to bet and say, look, my health is more important than your freedom. Baloney. Your freedom is paramount. You let me worry about my health. Everyone else will worry about their health. But not at the cost of our liberty, not at the cost of our freedom. Now, granted, in Hurricane Katrina, when we talked about it, there were some curfews, there were some other things going on. But that's just because the bad side, right? Some of the worst of humanity happened to be roaming the streets, stealing generators and siphoning gas, stealing people's water, stealing people's food. I don't know if I ever told anybody this, but I left Hurricane Katrina, and the reason that I left afterwards was I'd given away all my water. I'd given away all my money. I had given away all my food. And I'll never forget the day where I decided, hey, it's time to pop smoke and get out of there. Young boy came up to me, and he hadn't had any water. Because here's one of the cruel tricks is what I meant to say. Here's one of the cruel tricks. When Katrina comes in, the salt water knocked out all the freshwater wells. So there was no water to drink. Another cruel trick. After the hurricane leaves, temperatures went to 90 degrees at least, 100% humidity. And yet there were people there that I learned from that taught me what it was like to mortal up, that taught me that with everything going against them, they were going to remember who they were. They were going to remember where they were, and they were going to be damned if they didn't survive. So when we talk about human grit, when we talk about never standing for someone watering down true human wherewithal, that's what we're talking about. And that's what I learned from the good folks in and around New Orleans, all the different places that I was throughout my time there, was that there are those within the human family that absolutely refuse to lose. And that's all I'm suggesting now with everything we're up against, all the craziness going on. If you want to be safe and you're worried, stay home. Enjoy the solitude. Everybody and their brother wants to take up meditation, but no one wants to be quarantined. Good Lord, get a hold of yourself for a second. Oh, I'd love to learn meditation. Well, good. Now you're on lockdown. Oh, you got all day to learn meditation. All I'm suggesting is that why surrender other people's liberty just because it gives you a sense of feeling safe? I don't want you to worry about my safety. All right? I'll worry about my safety. Right? You'll worry about your safety. You'll worry about your health. But to do it at the expense of other people's liberties is not the way to go. I most certainly didn't do it in Hurricane Katrina and the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and I don't understand why we would do it now. So as we get ready to wrap, I would say to you, this is probably our last, code 472, our last 20-minute victory, because we're going to be a lot less threat, if you will, when we're doing just straight audio than any of the other stuff that we have going on. So that's why we're going to go, 20-minute victories. We're doing video. We don't want to break the internet, as you've heard me say before. So what we'll be doing is we'll be going to live radio starting Monday morning, 6 a.m., going for the full hour. And then you'll be able to get the rebroadcast of the videos. You'll be able to get that throughout, probably as soon as we're done, I would imagine. All right, so as we get ready to wrap up, thank you all so very much. We're going to bump a Fan Buddy till Monday because I just thought you'd want to hear from the inventor. That's just a better way all the way around. And wait till you get a good night's sleep when your air is just stripped clean of all the little bad guys and bad girls flying around. All right, thank you so very much for joining us. Please be safe. Don't forget that this Sunday morning, 11 a.m., we'll be doing All Natural Being because, as I joked, long before any of these divisions that were brought about, right, all these divisions that were thrown on us, we were part of the same team. You and me, part of the same tag team. And Sunday mornings are our way with All Natural Being. Sunday mornings are our way of just going, hey, look, let's try to get through this together. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much. Don't forget, head on over to mortalup.com, MORTALUP, mortalup.com. You'll be able to reach out to me. You'll be able to nominate your Low Life Making headlines. There you go. Low Life's making headlines and the rest. So please head over. Oh, and Mortal Up as well. Please head over and do so. And we will see you Sunday morning. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend until then.